We live in an environment without an end. Digital platforms are engineered for infinite scrolling, keeping us in a state of constant bombardment from new stimuli. Trying to navigate this world often leads to a specific kind of exhaustion. We treat concentration as a marathon of mental endurance, an endless stretch of focus that we feel we are constantly failing to maintain. This failure is actually a sign of your biology working as intended. Even right now, your brain is instinctively probing your environment, scanning for anything more interesting or useful than the information currently in front of you. This animation shows the reality of true concentration. The prefrontal cortex illuminates, acting as a localized shield that filters our sensory input and actively pushes away incoming distractions. Because this active suppression requires significant energy, the brain can only maintain it in short, intense bursts. True focus is a sprint, not a marathon, and attempting to stay locked in indefinitely is biologically impossible. In high-stakes environments like air traffic control, the ability to maintain these sprints is critical. A split-second lapse in focus here directly affects the lives of thousands of people in the air and on the ground. Maintaining that level of vigilance carries a heavy metabolic price. While the brain represents only 2% of our body weight, these periods of intense cognitive exertion cause it to consume nearly 20% of our total energy reserves. To sustain this effort, the body releases a cocktail of stress hormones. Adrenaline sharpens alertness, while cortisol mobilizes the body's energy stores to keep the system running under pressure. Even elite professionals reach a breaking point. Relying on stress hormones to force focus without adequate recovery eventually leads to muscle tension, mental exhaustion, and a complete systemic collapse. When the workload becomes overwhelming, most of us reflexively turn to multitasking as a survival strategy. The brain cannot process multiple complex tasks at once. It rapidly shifts a single node back and forth between tasks, losing particles of information during every jump. This switching cost creates a gap where the system goes dark, causing friction that leads to mistakes. This creates a self-defeating cycle when we are under pressure. As we feel our attention slipping, we try to compensate with sheer willpower, but that intense desire to perform triggers negative stress impulses that further disrupt our processing. Attempting to brute force your focus actually degrades your performance. The resulting tension slows your cognitive capacity and impairs the very fine motor skills and speed you are trying to maximize. The most effective way to escape this bottleneck is to stop trying. Elite performers reach their peak by letting go of conscious effort and entering a flow state. Entering flow involves a counterintuitive neurological shift. The prefrontal cortex, the center of conscious focus, goes quiet, dimming almost completely. Our brainwaves also transition. Jagged, rapid beta waves of effortful alertness give way to smooth, rolling alpha and theta patterns associated with deep relaxation. As conscious thought shuts down, the areas of the brain responsible for fear also deactivate. This state represents the height of human productivity. It is a period of anxiety-free immersion, where complex, high-speed actions happen on autopilot, free from the friction of agonizing effort. You cannot trigger flow through willpower. Because flow requires a release of tension, the harder you try to force it, the further it recedes. You can only set the biological stage for it to occur. One primary strategy is the use of strict daily routines. By turning baseline tasks into automatic habits, you conserve your prefrontal cortex's energy for the moments that require true, intense focus. Effective recovery must also be targeted to the type of stress you've endured. High mental exertion requires a period of complete cognitive disengagement, like a simple physical task, while physical stress requires deep, stationary rest. Peak performance is a result of managing your energy reserves and respecting your biological limits, rather than attempting to fight through them. The brain's habit of dropping focus to scan the horizon is a vital evolutionary survival mechanism. It allowed our ancestors to remain aware of their environment while pursuing a goal. Mastering your attention means recognizing when to sprint with intense focus and when to deliberately let the mind wander. Both states are necessary to absorb new information and process new ideas. We haven't evolved for endless robotic concentration. Our most significant breakthroughs emerge from periods of intense attention and the creative moments when we allow our minds to digress.